Last week, a brand new season of television inside the MCU debuted on Disney Plus called Wonder Man. It's about Simon Williams as he prepares to audition and star in the movie Wonder Man. And he's got a secret. He's got superpowers. So he teams up with Trevor Slattery to go through this journey into Hollywood together. I was not looking forward to this show. I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't think that it was a good idea to release Wonder Man in January as a show, especially when the MCU, television-wise, has just kind of been, I mean, we all know what it's been. It's kind of been content over quality, quantity over quality, and specifically with 2025 kind of getting the MCU back on the right page with Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts, I kind of felt like, was it a good idea to release Wonder Man? In fact, I didn't even know it released last Tuesday until I clicked on Disney Plus to watch Captain America: The First Avenger. And I saw Wonder Man there, and I'm like, okay. I guess Wonder Man's out on Disney Plus now. And so I didn't watch Captain America: The First Avenger that night. I started Wonder Man, and I watched Wonder Man. And, well, we'll get into my review. Before I dive in, if you would subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, comment down below. What are your opinions on Wonder Man if you have seen it? And if you have not seen it, are you excited to watch it? I know it's been out for a week. I know. Don't judge me, okay? I work 2 jobs, and they released all 8 episodes at once. It's kind of hard for me to find a time to sit down and watch it. So over the span of a week, I watched like 1 episode one night, 2 episodes the other, took a night off because life gets in the way. And because I don't do this as full-time, I can't just watch TV all day like I wish I could. But I can't. I gotta pay the bills somehow. So that is why the review is coming out this late. With that said, Wonder Man is the best MCU show. I'm just gonna say it. Out of all of the live-action shows, all of the animated shows, I think Wonder Man is my new favorite. When we get crap, and that's how I'm gonna describe it, crap like Ironheart last year, where it's very clearly a season of television that has no effort put into it. None at all. There's no care. And then you get this, where this is such a compelling story that you can very clearly tell the people making it cared about the story that they were telling. It's very much paced like Loki Season 2. If you've seen Loki Season 2, you know that's way more character-based. It's faster paced than Wonder Man, but you know it's character-based. There's not a lot of action in it. With Wonder Man, it's character-based. There's not a lot of action in it. And you think of Loki Season 2, you think of top-tier MCU television, and you think of Wonder Man, and that is what people are going to think of now, is top-tier television. At its core is Simon and Trevor. The cast is great, obviously. Yahya Abdul-Mateen is an actor that has been in not a lot. He's been in the bad Candyman movie from 2021 that I do not like whatsoever, and he's very campy in that movie. He was Black Manta when the DCEU was still a thing, so he hasn't really had a lot to kind of show what he can do. But in this show, he's very good. I did not expect much from him after the first episode. I'm like, I don't really like where this is going. But he is very good, because this show, and we'll talk about this more later on, is very intense, can be funny, and has to display a lot of emotion, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen absolutely kills it in this role. He is awesome. And then you get Trevor Slattery, played by Ben Kingsley, who is just hilarious. If you don't know, I mean, you should know by now, he was the Mandarin in 2013's Iron Man 3. Where, you know, highly regarded by a lot of people as like the worst plot twist in the MCU. I didn't hate the plot twist, but still, he shows up in Shang-Chi, and it's kind of played like a joke. It's cool, but he's definitely played like a joke. He's much more serious here, but he is also hilarious. Just the facial emotions, the way he expresses himself is very funny. But the relationship between him and Simon is amazing. There are spoilers. Obviously, if you clicked on the video, you would have saw it in the title. There are spoilers here. But just in case you can't read, or spoilers, this will be the first spoiler I talk about, where obviously Simon has superpowers, and Trevor is working for the Department of Damage Control to kind of get a read on Simon. They think he might be dangerous. And when you get those reveals, that's heartbreaking. We'll talk about that just in a second. But the relationship and bond that Simon and Trevor form along the way is amazing, and you really care for these characters. They have great chemistry. You love their friendship inside of the show, and it definitely, I wouldn't say carries the show because there's so much other great things in here, but it definitely helps why this show is so absolutely great. This show has the full range of emotions. It's intense, it's funny, you feel the victories and defeats. When there needs to be some great emotions, there are some great emotions. It all really works. The show is about Simon trying out for the role of Wonder Man and just kind of stressing out the entire season. And every single time that you are with Simon while he's going through these, you're just on the edge of your seat because you know how his brain ticks. The show gives you a great look into the way his brain ticks, and so you're constantly thinking, is he going to mess this up? Is he going to overthink it? It is so very intense. And as someone who was in theater, still does theater from time to time, has had his fair share of acting, not on a big league level, but like that, I know how stressful auditions can be. And like in that one episode with Von Kovac, as he just kind of makes them go off script and create their own characters. I know how stressful that is when someone just grabs a rug and pulls it out from under you and makes you do that. And like that was a very, very good sequence. But you just have those sequences throughout the entire season that you're just on the edge of your seat, don't know if he's going to screw it up or if he's going to make it. And that's what makes the victories feel so good, is because when he finally does get there, and he portrays Wonder Man, and he is Wonder Man, and he's the guy that everybody thinks he is, the talented actor, you feel those victories. But the season's not without its fair share of defeats, too. With the end of the show, when he uses his powers and accidentally blows up the set of the Wonder Man movie, when he finds out what Trevor was doing, when Trevor turns himself in as the Mandarin, going back to that role, I had tears in my eyes. Because again, you care about that bond, and you feel that emotional weight, like he actually cares for Simon, and did this. Ruined the rest of his life. When he said the lines, I boggled every role I've ever given. I'm not going to let you ruin this one. Heartbreaking stuff. Because the show does so well to make you care for the characters. And like I said, it's intense, and you feel the victories and defeats. And it's very funny. I already mentioned Ben Kingsley and the way he acts, but it's a very good, tight script. The dialogue is great. Sometimes there's kind of fast-paced stuff, carnage happening that is just absolutely hilarious. And again, the chemistry between Yahya Abdul-Mateen and Ben Kingsley is very funny. I looked at episode 5, which is an early contender for best episode of television in 2026. It is phenomenal. It is genuinely that good of an episode. It's funny. It's intense. It has all of the things that you want from an episode of television, and it's done perfectly. I love that episode. Like I said, very emotional with kind of the reveals that happen. I also think of episode 3, where you're kind of following Simon as he's walking through the house at his mom's birthday party, and there's these people, and they're very clearly mocking him to his face because he's an actor, and they don't believe in his dreams. And again, how good the performance of Yahya Abdul-Mateen is, you could just see by his expressions, you could see that this is tearing him down. That is just another emotional episode. And then you get the reveals at the end of the season and the stuff that Trevor does. Again, it's a show that has so much care. So much care for the characters and the story that they are telling. When you get literal dog shit like Ironheart last year, that very clearly no one cared about and was just dumped out on Disney Plus. And then you get this. Dumped all 8 episodes out on Disney Plus. Nobody thought it would be good. And you get a show with so much care, so much heart, so much emotions, intense, fantastic performances. I think this is my favorite MCU show. Like, the more I think about it, I cannot think of another MCU show that topped how I felt when I was watching this one. The Hollywood references are great. The cinematography is really good. And all of the other positives I've said make this one of the best MCU shows, if not the best MCU show. I will say the one negative I have is at the end of the show when Simon breaks Trevor out of prison. I didn't like that. I kind of refer back to Roofman, the movie that released in 2025, where that movie very clearly, the guy goes to prison. Channing Tatum goes to prison. it's not a happy ending. And I kind of wish that's what this was like, instead of Simon just being like, oh, yeah, I'm going to break you out of prison. Kind of ruins the emotional weight a little bit. I'm not really going to talk about that much because I don't really like talking about negatives to a show I absolutely love. But I'm not going to lie, I was like, okay, kind of wish he stayed in prison. I love the bromance, but I would have felt the stakes more. But this is the MCU. No, there's really no consequences. Nobody ever stays dead, and I'm okay with that. It's the MCU. I will say, however, every single MCU show, the finale's always a little rushed. I think if the finale added another 10, 20 minutes on, I think that would have helped it out tremendously. But overall, I mean, obviously, Wonder Man, I've gushed about it. I loved the show. I thought it was had so much care. You're not going to see Wonder Man in Avengers Doomsday. That's for sure. But I'm so happy we got the show that clearly they care about what they are putting on screen. And this is just peak storytelling. And that's what we need from the MCU. Before I give you my final score, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below if you have seen Wonder Man. What are your opinions on it? If you haven't seen it, why are you watching this video? It's a spoiler review. But anyways, comment down below if you haven't seen it, watched it. Did this review make you want to watch the show even more? And with that said, Wonder Man has some phenomenal characters. It's intense, funny, you feel the emotional depth, and it's a show that clearly they cared about the story that they were putting on screen. And that's why it works so well. So for me, Wonder Man is going to get an A, just because the finale had a little bit of rush things, but I will definitely say this is a must watch. Even if you don't like the MCU or the shows, this is far different from every other MCU show. And it's so much better. It's a must-watch. Watch Wonder Man on Disney Plus. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. And with that said, subscribe.